It gave us the courage to, first of all, live for the other person. I knew I have to stick it out because I have to have my dad with me. And that's what kept me going.
Sam Gottesman survived the Holocaust with his father Isaac. Their love for each other helped them endure starvation and sickness, years of slave labor, and two of the most horrific concentration camps, Auschwitz and Bergen-Belsen.
I was born in the Carpathian mountain region, which was originally Czechoslovakia. We were a family of 7 children. We had 3 brothers and 4 sisters, and mom and dad, of course.
The Gottesman family was among the 1,500 Jews living in a little town called Irshava. The family owned a hardware store and lived a fairly uneventful life until 1938, when the Germans annexed Czechoslovakia. The Hungarians, members of the Axis powers along with Nazi Germany, took over the part of Czechoslovakia that included Irshava. That all came with Hitler's blessings, and Jews soon began to face restrictions.
We had to apply for permits to operate a business, and then of course they were all rejected. And so we had no way of making a living.
Jewish businesses were confiscated and given to Hungarians to run. But somehow an underground market developed, and the Jews of Irshava survived until March 1944, when the Germans turned against the Hungarians for holding secret peace negotiations with the Allies.
It was a Friday night, I think, was the first night, that German soldiers came into town. Sunday morning, the town crier went from places to places and announced that the Jews have to pack up a bundle for themselves and take only what they can carry with them. By noon, we are to report to the synagogue courtyard. They ordered us into a ghetto, and all those 1,500 families had to move into those few houses.
A week later, the Jews were ordered to the train station. They were sent to the nearby town of Munkac, a gathering point for the Jews of Czechoslovakia and Hungary. 30,000 people were crammed together.
One day, everybody had to line up. A group of 80, 85, 90 people together, families together, 5 per rows, and we all had to stand still. He came in, I remember seeing him with 2 young SS guards on the side of him, and he walked around us. I found out after the war it was Eichmann himself.
It was a chance encounter with Adolf Eichmann, the evil mastermind behind the deportation of Jews to ghettos and concentration camps through Nazi-occupied Europe.
That particular day when he came in and looked it over, and that's when they started loading the first train to Auschwitz. We got loaded on those boxcars, family together, and of course we were crowded in there. We were given 2 buckets, a bucket of water and a bucket for your physical needs.
As bad as that was, what came next was unimaginable.
And that's when hell broke loose. He opened up, and it was SS, the helpers were the Jewish boys, with the dogs, clubbing, rouse, 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 don't touch anything, leave every day, rouse, 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 men separate, women separate, don't talk, don't ask any questions, don't keep knocking us down. And it was hell on earth. My mother and sisters were separated on the other line and don't see them anymore. And I was together with my father. at least that much. So we're trying to hold on to each other.
Sam was prisoner number 37052, his father 37051. They stayed in Auschwitz only 2 days before being picked to go to a slave labor camp in a little town near the Czech border.
We were together up to about December of 1944.
Sam hurt himself cutting lumber and was sent to another camp to recover. He thought he'd never see his dad again.
He had problems with his legs, my dad. There were some boils coming out from starvation, I guess. And he asked the doctor to send him off to a hospital, which usually don't do that. For some reason, he was hoping to go somewhere, so he had no idea where I was. But he succeeded in convincing the doctor to send him off too.
Where did they send Isaac Gottesman? Sam was in the new labor camp called Giersdorf, in the hospital where they brought in new patients.
And I was standing and watching them marching in, and here I take a look at my dad. I just, I gave up actually on my dad. I never thought that we will never get together again.
Their relationship helped them remain human in an inhumane time, even when a bowl of soup could tear people apart.
When we come home from work, first thing we were worried about is, what are we going to get for supper tonight? This is very important. It's the first thing we wanted to know.
Food was such an issue for the starving prisoners that they even planned when and where to stand in line to get their best food or the biggest portions. Sam loved the soup with biscuits.
And I asked one of the fellows who were part from the kitchen staff, I asked him, what do we have for tonight? He says, we have Biscottensuppe. I says, what? Biscottensuppe. I just took my spoon and put it took a dip into it, and I started tasting it, and it was like cookies, melted cookies. I says, my God, I could not believe that this was what it is. And I just walked into my barrack, slowly tasting it. I dared not eat it all at one time. And I came into the room, and my dad was there, and we enjoyed every spoon of it. And then we came almost to the end of it, and I said to myself, I have to get another bowl of this soup.
Sam decided to pretend he fell and spilled his meal. He smeared a little of the precious soup on his clothes and went back near the kitchen. At the risk of a terrible beating, he asked for more, and amazingly, he received it.
Turned around, I started walking to the barrack where my father is. And I started debating with me. This is where the devil is in it. I says, I have a bowl of soup. I'm hungry. I know my dad is hungry too, but he doesn't know I have it. So if I don't share with him, so what? He had his. And I kept on debating and debating. And I finally got into the barrack, and my father takes a look, and his eyes popped open. He said, what happened? Where did you get that? So I just told him what happened. And he says, you risked your life for this bowl of soup? I said, I did it, that's all. And I did share the soup with my father. And this is what you have to overcome when you have a question or a questionable behavior that you have to solve right there and then. So I'm glad that I was able to overcome my desires and hunger and share it with my dad. And this is what gave us the courage to stay alive. We helped each other.